Here at COSI, we're proud to call Columbus home. Let's go find some science around the city. Hey Sarah, it's Lauren from COSI.
Hi Lauren, it's good to see you.
We're here at Modern Southern Table, about to go talk to the chef.
I'm so bummed that I can't be there today, but Daisy, the chef, was a winner on the Food Network's Food Court Wars.
Really excited to uncover the science behind soul food.
The food is amazing, part of the wonderful food scene that we have in Columbus.
Let's get in there and check it out.
Have fun!
Hi, I'm Sadaya Lewis. They call me Daisy, and I'm the owner of Modern Southern Table. And this is our second location. It's on High Street near Clintonville and Worthington. We're super excited about it.
Amazing. Hi, Daisy. Tell us a little bit about your restaurant.
Okay, so Modern Southern Table is basically a Southern restaurant, but I like to say it's a tour of the South. We basically create dishes that are based on my family's heritage from the Low Country area and into their trek down into Alabama. And so we're just spotlighting great dishes from each cuisine.
So tell me a little bit more about how you got started cooking. Was it something you came into later in life? Did you start out really young?
I started cooking at 9. I learned from my grandmothers. They had to teach me how to cook. I started growing my own food, canning my own food, barbecuing, everything at 9 years old.
Oh my goodness. So what's the importance of bringing Southern cuisine to Central Ohio?
I think it's important to show our cuisine off at its best. I think a lot of times Southern food is done fast, frozen, not fresh or whatever. And I really felt like Columbus needed a real soul food scene where they were getting quality food made fresh daily, and the customer can really appreciate real Southern cuisine. So I felt like it was like an educational thing that needed to happen.
Absolutely. Is gumbo your favorite dish?
Yeah, yes, it is. It's my first food memory. So the first thing I remember with gumbo was from my grandmother Ann. She was making it, and it was a big old pot on the stove. And when I climbed up on the pot, I looked in, and it was like crawfish and crab legs and oysters and stuff. And I was like traumatized, like, oh my God, I ain't eating that. And she was like, oh, you eating it? And I ate it, and I ended up loving it. And that was just a dish that has really grown with me, and I have changed it and morphed it for my grandmother, basically, to make sure that she would be proud of it.
Well, gumbo is what you're going to show us to make. Do you want to walk us through a couple steps?
Yeah, sure. All right, so I'm gonna make gumbo. Here's the gumbo. I've already prepped majority of it, and so we could just put it together. This is the roux. We make a dark chocolate roux. If you could tell, it's the color of a chocolate bar, a dark chocolate bar. It's a flour and oil mix. It's even combinations. That makes the perfect roux. And we cook it for like 30 minutes, stirring it constantly so it gets nice and brown and chocolate. Not burnt, but chocolate.
So why would you use a roux?
We use the roux as a thickening agent. If we put everything in the gumbo, it'll just make a soup. But we put the roux in there to give it the flavor and to thicken the gumbo.
So what is the point of taking your roux this far to that chocolatey color?
That deep, nutty flavor of the gumbo. And that's what makes a real gumbo. If they don't use roux, it ain't gumbo.
What all do you have going on in the pot over here?
So we have our sausage, onions, and bell peppers, and we're just sauteing them up.
What type of spices are you throwing in there? Do those all go in the roux, or are you cooking those with the vegetables and meats as well?
We're gonna put them in the meat, with the meat and vegetables, yes. But we use black pepper, paprika, a whole bunch of other stuff I can't tell you. Biggest one, salt, pepper, paprika. Use something that someone that probably don't use, white pepper.
White pepper.
White pepper, it's a distinct taste. It's a different taste totally than regular pepper. So that's something that we use. We're gonna add the roux.
So I've heard of something called the Holy Trinity in cooking. What is the Holy Trinity?
So the Holy Trinity is onions, bell peppers, and celery.
And would you use that typically in a gumbo?
Yes. Only thing is I don't use celery because I can't stand celery. So maybe that's one of the modifications that I realized that now I realize I took it out. But that is the holy trinity of the New Orleans cuisine. So now we're gonna do our spice blend. I already had it all mixed up, ready to go. Now that we added the seasonings, now we're about to add the broth. And so now the broth is going to absorb all of that roux and all the flavors of the pan from the sausage. And then it is going to soak it up and then start thickening. So we're gonna let it cook for like maybe 30 minutes and then we'll add in the chicken and then we'll add in more broth. But that's a gumbo.
Gumbo sounds like a party I want to be invited
Yes, and you just gotta cook it really long time so all the flavors can blend and all the spices can get together.
to. How important is it to you keeping these kind of cooking traditions in the family or sharing those traditions to your community?
I think it's very important. I feel sometimes the African American culture tend to steer away from some of the soul food traditions because our soul food could be known as being bad and unhealthy. And so for me, I definitely want to be a culinarian, a historian, and pass that on because this doesn't have anything bad in it, right? Like a little bit of oil, but it's all fresh vegetables, fresh meat. So it's nothing bad about this. And this is something that has been passed down for centuries. And it should definitely be passed down to younger generations. Our kids should be making this. So it's really important for me to keep passing down the Southern roots for everyone, including my family. Because my grandmother is gone, so who's making the gumbo now for the family? You know what I mean? So it's important for the family and the community.
Daisy, it was so nice talking with you. I loved being able to walk through your kind of scientific process of cooking all the way from the beginning to the end. So thank you so much for chatting with us.
Oh, well, thank you for coming out and checking out my new place and our food traditions, gumbo.
Oh, well, we'll be back for
Yes.
sure. And we'll see you next time on Science Tour 614.
Thank you.